Hello everyone, welcome to our first public virtual Startup AUTOBAHN meetup. I hope everybody can see and hear me. Great to have you all. We gave you 5 more minutes because we know that some have to dial in and then now everybody can be. So again, a warm welcome. Hi to our first event here in the virtual world, and we will talk today about the future of workplaces, and we'll have a look at technologies in the field of communication and cost cutting. And we really hope that every one of you are doing well, that your loved ones are doing well, and we're really happy that we could transfer everything what we do normally in person now in the virtual world. I saw we have some new names on the list of people who got a ticket for today. So hey guys, welcome to the Startup AUTOBAHN family. And maybe for this who don't know me, my name is Hannah. What you can see here actually at on the slide, Hannah Boomgaarden, and I'm responsible for our program and the community here at Startup AUTOBAHN, and will host you today. And yeah, excited to see what we all can experience here. Normally we are used to meet in face-to-face, so it could be in our office in Stuttgart or at our partner's place. But what we saw, we have today people here from Japan, from New York, from Silicon Valley, Hamburg, Israel. And I think all of you don't really had so much effort to join. And I think this is the positive sides on this virtual event world, and on the other side fitting perfectly to our topic, future of workplaces. And the motto what we like, that innovation should be open to anyone and anywhere. Maybe for all who don't know what Startup AUTOBAHN is, for all our new friends here on board. So the main thing what we are actually focusing is the matchmaking between startups from all over the world with the business units of our corporate partner to enable and to moderate POCs or pilot projects, with the goal to implement it long-term in the product, processes, and services. We started all this 2016 with our founding team. It was included Daimler, Plug and Play Tech Center, University of Stuttgart, and Arena 2036, and grew now to 28 partners who are working now on already 8 programs. Okay, now I will do a little bit number dropping. So 28 partners you actually can see here on the slide. And 8 programs. We worked with 240 startups on over 379 POCs in the field of mobility, production, sustainability, and we're looking forward to everything what is coming. And starting with today, you actually can join us scouting for our next program, for program 9. So for this, we created an event series. So each month there will be one event coming up with new startups, with new topics. So we're focusing on the future of vehicles, the future of production, and the future of luxury. One will be hosted with one of our partners, Mercedes, and the other one will be hosted with Porsche. And of course, you're all welcome to join us here. If you're interested, you can just write a comment in the Q&A or come in touch with us afterwards. But it's not about what is happening next month, it's about what is happening today. So if we have a look at the agenda, what is happening. So already mentioned, we made over 300 POCs. To do all these 300 POCs, our business units need to meet the startups to discuss if there are any collaborations. For this, maybe we have a look at the agenda of today. So go to the next slide. So we met with all our anchor partners already in the morning to start the day, and then this anchor partners met with the startups in one-on-one meetings. So we had 64 meetings to discuss if there are any possibilities for collaboration. But now, starting at 4, we have a lot of topics for you on the timeline. So our venture team invited 8 startups in the field of communication and cost cutting who will pitch their solutions. You're welcome to ask as well questions in the Q&A section, and Theo will create with them together a business survival kit for you. In between, we have a quick keynote from Nadja. We shared beforehand with you a short survey, and she will include your thoughts in before Corona. I experienced the trend in her inspiration keynote about never waste a crisis. And at the end, we will have a 30 minutes expert panel. So really happy to have Anja with us from Ticonium, Mark from Sony, Ben from Philips, Sophia from Daimler, and Mountain Minds. And we will talk about how we can innovate our way out of this crisis and how the future of workplaces will look like. And here you can see all the speakers we have, so we're really grateful that you guys joined us. And if you would like to read a little bit more about the speakers, about the startups, we shared with the most of you a briefing document. And actually, if you have a look at the Q&A section, we shared the link there as well. So here you can find a little bit more details if you would like to deep dive a little bit more. But I would say, I think we have so much more activities going on in this time to support you. So maybe Sascha, I can ask you to share some of them here now.
Sure. Thanks for the intro, Hannah, and welcome everybody to Startup Autobahn program number 8, our first virtual meetup ever. This is exciting. Normally, one of our anchor partners is hosting this monthly Startup Autobahn meetup, whether virtually or hopefully soon again in person. But for today's meetup, Plug and Play is hosting. And we will be addressing topics based on the current inquiries from our partners here in Stuttgart, who all have been trying, of course, to cope best possible with the Corona situation. I believe that most industry all of a sudden have an even bigger pressure to adjust their business models and processes and cope better with the global markets now and also long term. This includes the cost-cutting measures and the new ways to work more efficiently. As Hannah already mentioned, our venture team identified 8 great new technologies and startups for today's session, where we will be addressing better remote work solutions, secure data sharing, intelligent redefining and automation of processes, better tools for remote learning, and other. So that said, Plug and Play with over 50 innovation platforms worldwide is also adapting to Corona needs for our partners at this time. Some great examples how Plug and Play responded are activities like the fireside chats with our CEO and founder Saeed Amidi. Many of you know Saeed already, have met him in person at one of our expos or events here in Stuttgart or worldwide. I think the first fireside chat I think was very special. It was together with Matthias Ahlet of Webasto, Vice Chairman of Webasto, our long-standing partner and valued partner here at Startup Autobahn. And they shared experiences as Webasto was one of the first companies who was affected by Corona. Matthias shared advice on how to manage the company, how to change processes, how to communicate to the team. Was really interesting. Also, About a week ago, Said talked to the mayor of Seoul, who is a forward thinker of smart cities, and also with this topic, Corona. Then separately, our headquarters, Plug and Play in Silicon Valley, actually created 2 platforms with more focus on Corona, like the COVID-19 accelerator, which is not only focusing the health aspects, but also addressing enterprise and commerce topics to restore, or an effort to restore communities and to revitalize economies. And then, of course, adjacent to that, our sustainability open innovation platform is addressing as well many topics which overlap with COVID-19, and we believe that many of them will become even more important once the pandemic is succeeded. Fun fact is that our loved home of Plug and Play in Stuttgart, of startup AUTOBAHN, is the research and innovation facility Arena 2036. And in a non-for-profit effort, this Arena 2036 started to create a production line in the facility, creating or manufacturing reusable masks out of plexiglass, printed in 3D. This is a super cool project. I think so far they manufactured about 6,000 or 7,000, and there's plans to manufacture double the amount. And then finally, we will tomorrow post information on our startup AUTOBAHN website about approximately 30 of our alumni startups and how they helped or reacted in Corona times. So if you're, by the way, interested in any of these above mentioned topics, please shout out to our Startup AUTOBAHN team. Lastly, I'd like to thank everybody to be here for this creating this great event. Nadja, our keynote speaker, Anya, Benedict, Mark, and Sophia. Thank you for your time and attention to this, and thank you, Hannah and our Startup AUTOBAHN team. I think we will have a great hour going forward. And with that, Hannah, back to you.
Thank you, Sascha, for giving us an overview. And yeah, I only can add, like, thanks to everyone who joining us today, startups, speaker, as well, you guys. And we really realized how important community is right now. So going to the next slide, showing you kind of our hashtag, but actually it's really easy. Like, if you have any activities you want to share, you doing right now, or any questions, or I don't know, just want that we comment or share it, just use the hashtag Startup AUTOBAHN to make us aware. So this is what our actual startups did to tell us what they're doing right now as well. Send it to us. And to give you a really quick sneak peek what you can expect tomorrow at our blog post, we just picked 3 examples from startup, also past programs. So like as example, some like offering like free HR support for your production to be more efficient here, or you can like download like a 3D printed face shields, a template to print your things as well. Of course, right now, especially in Germany, we need it for going shopping. So you can download it from other startup, or one created a IA's assistants to answer any COVID questions you have. And yeah, stay tuned. Have a look tomorrow at our blog post or at LinkedIn. There we will collect everything, but it will be keep updating. So if you have anything you would like to include, like just hashtag Startup AUTOBAHN and let us know. But these are like our past startups, and now we would like to meet new startups, right? So Theo, maybe I can handle over to you that you introduce us of the startups of today. See you guys.
Sure, I'll be happy to do so. Thank you, Hannah, and hi, everyone. Welcome to our first ever virtual meetup. First of all, it's exciting to see that despite the current circumstances, we are still committed to working together, to supporting innovation, and actually to pushing new boundaries in an effort to add value to our community and to our society. As Bill Gates recently mentioned, global innovation is the key to limiting the damage that was provoked by the pandemic. And I'm happy that here at Startup AUTOBAHN, we are really not wasting this crisis, but instead, we are putting our minds together to accelerate innovation and to set up new transformational projects. Today's event is called a Business Survival Kit, because it is about remaining relevant, about remaining strong and competitive against the current backdrop of companies being forced to do more with less, or of workflows being disrupted everywhere. There has actually never been a better time to rapidly advance transformations in all aspects of work. Remote work seems to be like the new normal for 2020, and not only that, but cost-cutting technologies and increased productivity is on everyone's agenda. Nonetheless, in order to retain talent and actually engage the employees to deliver the necessary changes in organizations, these are also topics that are top of everyone's agenda. As we all need to adapt to new ways of working, we have a number of startups here at Startup AUTOBAHN that have come to the rescue. Overall, we have 8 amazing startups who will present their solutions in just a bit. We have 3 of them from Munich in Germany, and the rest of them are based in San Francisco area. To start off, we'll hear first from the startups that enable near-term cost savings in organizations, and that's mainly through automations. Then, after an exciting keynote from Nadja from More Shiny Eyes, we will also give the floor to the second batch of startups who will be focusing on the future of work. So they will be focusing on collaboration and communication tools. In the meantime, if you have any questions for our guests, please go ahead and post your question in the Q&A box, and we will kindly ask our startups to answer them in real time. And now, I would like to introduce the first startup, Scan AI, from our first batch of pitches. Scan AI was founded in 2018 in San Jose, California, and Avinash, the CEO and co-founder, is here to tell us more about how process mining software can help you reduce costs. Avinash, you have the floor.
Hello there, my name is Avinash and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Scan.ai. Scan helps map, model, and manage the invisible enterprise. What is the invisible enterprise? Between what an organization thinks is its business process and what is actually happening on the ground. Between the boxes and arrows diagrams at level 1, level 2 that describe processes and the standard operating procedures and what's actually happening in the innumerable exceptions, nuances, and decisions that human beings are taking with digital tooling lies the invisible enterprise. It is critical that we know that, but the reason we do not know about it is because we use human discovery to be able to figure out these business processes. This act of human interviews actually does not work. It does not work because there is a tacit dimension of knowledge, that human beings know more than they can tell. And always, when we ask someone what is it that they do in a given situation, the answer is not what they do, but the answer is what they're supposed to be doing. And so, large part of what an organization thinks is its business process is simply not true. You'd say, well, that's all very well, but why do we care? We care because we do not want to be a statistic on a page like this. Enough blood, sweat, and tears have already been spent on digital transformation that was not quantified and depended on anecdotal evidence. Scan aims to change that. We change it by using computer vision, which is where the digital rubber hits the digital road, which is where all decisions are seen on the screen. We use computer vision to observe the screens at scale across the organization to be able to figure out what the business process is. We do not require access to your backend systems. We do not require access to any data or logs. We use information on the screen, and using computer vision, we figure out what the business process looks like. There is no human discovery, and therefore we can easily go beyond the happy path descriptions of work. And because this is a data-driven description of work, we can simulate, we can interrogate, we can automate these processes. So Scan, we deploy tooling on each of the desktops where work is happening, and we use the information on the screen to capture information much like a WebEx or a Zoom would, and use that to be able to build out process twins, not just on the work of one person, but of the many people who are working in the organization. Using this information, we are either able to provide supervisory AI or data-driven re-engineering and transformation that then dovetails into digital transformation agendas of the organizations. So what is it that Scan can do for the enterprise? One, it can help understand and optimize before you make digital interventions based on data. And second, after the digital intervention has been made, and that intervention may be automation or change in tooling or retraining of people, monitor and manage the impact, again, on a data-driven basis, not based on interviews. So Scan does not automate. Scan drives continuous compliance and risk using supervisory AI. Scan benchmarks work, provides precision training, and Scan is being used for process mapping and compliance in claims management, in automation and application rationalization, in compliance and due diligence, and in optimization and transformation at large organizations. Feel free to reach out to us at www.scan.ai. Thank you.
Thank you, Avinash. Next in line is Electronic, a startup founded in San Francisco and previously part of a Y Combinator batch. Before founding Electronic, the CEO Yudovsky started one of the leading UiPath implantation consultancies in Europe. But now it's time to give the floor to Dimitri, co-founder, who will tell us more about how robotic process optimization can help your company.
Hello, my name is Dmitry Karpov. I'm a co-founder of Electronic, an intelligent automation platform that automatically finds and robotizes repetitive business processes. We focus on last mile business processes. This is a routine that employees do on their computers or virtual machines. There is so much enterprise automation opportunities available for enterprise, ERPs, RPA, low-code SaaS platforms, but still what we see is 15–20% of the work time all employees spend on cognitive repetitive processes that can be automated, but you probably don't know about them. So how much do you pay for all these routine that remains untapped as last mile process? What if you can know how exactly all your employees interact with different software and automatically identify automation opportunities? What if you can do it instantly, out of the box, not using process mining, not using any process triggers, or any expensive computer vision analysis? What, once identified, you can robotize these processes at zero marginal cost? Meet Electronic. We have unique, out-of-the-box, data-driven discovery of repetitive tasks execution. We see how users interact with app interfaces, how they switch between interfaces and between apps, how they use clipboard, how they use mouse and keyboard patterns. And also it includes enterprise-grade, well-regarded, well-known in the States automation platform, Electronic RPA, that for enterprises comes with an unlimited number of attended and unattended RPA bots. So you don't need to care about technology cost once you identified an automation opportunity. Our company is just 2 years old. We are founded by Y Combinator, recent graduate, have a bunch of great investors on board, including former head of McKinsey Digital and head of Accenture Digital. We are well recognized as top 3 solution in the States by G2, and Gartner's Capterra puts us on top 5. We partner with NVIDIA, Google, Microsoft, and ABI to deliver best-in-class automation solutions for our clients. We'll be happy to answer any questions or stay in touch. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dimitri. Moving on, it's time to discover our third startup that has built a service both for business users and IT admins. Workato has already 7 years of experience in offering an enterprise automation platform that can automate complex business workflows and integrates with a lot of enterprise-wide apps. Let's hear more about Workato.
Hello, my name is Fergus, and I'm here to introduce Workato. Workato is an enterprise automation platform. The company is headquartered in Mountain View, California. We have just over 7,000 customers, around 60,000 people who build recipes on the platform. A recipe is like an automation or a workflow. Over 1,000 connectors and 500,000 community recipes. These are recipes that can be shared across the Workato community. So what is it that we do? Well, as everyone probably knows who's listening to this, there's been an explosion of SaaS application usage in the enterprise. So just like each of us has about 500 apps on our iPhone, each company seems to have about 500 apps for just about every task. This results in silos of data. It makes it difficult to manage workflows and makes integration a big, big challenge. And that's what Workato is all about trying to resolve. So what do organizations need to do this? Well, first of all, they need to build things faster. Organizations need results quickly, and they need to see return on investment as fast as possible. They need to do more than just integration. They need to automate things. They need to take advantage of AI and machine learning. They need to use bots. And they also need to reduce the reliance on IT. So they need a solution that allows people who sit in the business to do things themselves and not to rely on IT to do everything. And lastly, this needs to be enterprise grade. It needs to be scalable. It needs to be secure. It needs to be something that a large enterprise can trust. So this is Workato. We are more than just a traditional iPaaS. And iPaaS, for those who don't know, is an integration platform as a service. But Workato does more than just be an integration platform. We provide workflow, we provide bots, and we are a full board in the cloud software as a service platform. So there's no infrastructure to manage or to upgrade or to take care of. And most importantly, the people who build the integrations and the automations of Workato don't have to be engineers or developers, and you don't have to hire in specialists to do the work. This is a little snapshot of what Workato looks like. It's very simple to configure. And really the skill sets required to do this is a business analyst or an application administrator, something like a Salesforce admin. So if you could administer Salesforce, you can build automations in Workato. This enables many, many use cases across the organization, from finance to HR to IT, and right across what we now call revenue operations, that's sales, marketing, and customer success. So I hope to meet some of you later. I can tell you more about Workato, and hope you've enjoyed this pitch. Thank you very much.
We've learned a lot about the value of intelligent workflow automation. So now it's time to move up to the last startup of this session, Userlane. The startup was founded in Munich, and in a nutshell, it has developed a tool that can help keep the employees up to speed with the digital transformation of a company. Felix, we're looking forward to hearing more from you.
Hi, my name is Felix and I'm from the company Userlane. We are a Munich-based company, and what we can help you with is instant software adoption. So that means that with our technology, you can help your employees, your users, to use any software without any formal training. So why is that important? Well, latest research show that actually 90% of the jobs require digital skills, but actually 44% of the workforce, they lack the basic digital skills to keep up with digital transformation. And so that means that the challenge is not really buying or having technology, it's actually making your employees use the technology that you have available. And that's what we have built UserLane for. UserLane is an interactive assistant that sits directly within the application. Through this assistant, you can provide your employees with contextualized content that works step by step and is guiding users interactively through any processes within the application. That means that users are guided in real time in the live application and accomplish the tasks they need to be doing while being guided, so ensuring that everyone can use any software without formal training. So that means that UserLane is interactive and context-based, not a video. And also it works on any web-based software, enabling you to roll this out across the different applications you have. It layers on top of the application. So on the left-hand side, there is the application, then UserLane layers on top of it, and you've got the guided processes then on the right-hand side. So that means that there are no changes to your software required, and all the content can be created by your learning and development team, because there is no technical knowledge necessary. So the current situation is difficult for sure. So UserLane can help you in 3 ways. It can, on the one hand side, improve the self-service so that your users are in the home office more self-sufficient and don't need to call the support hotlines. Also, you can help them get more out of the software, increasing productivity and efficiency. And the last thing is you can still communicate with all your employees even when they are in home office. So who already is using that? Well, there are over 200 customers already, 70% are in Europe and also a part in the US. There are 2 types of businesses, so either everyone who's selling cloud software or who's using cloud software. And across different industries, we have worked with already a lot of different companies. So we started in 2016 and are now working with some of the largest corporations in Germany, but also across the world. If you want to learn more about UserLane, feel free to visit us under userlane.com or just reach out after this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for startups for sharing your solutions. I'm really excited to see what will come next. It's really nice that we already have some questions popping up. I can see around 6. So if you have any, feel free to include them as well. The startup will reply in the Q&A session, and later in the panel there will be live questions to the startups. Going from startups to our inspiration keynote, I'm really excited to have Nadja with us, and actually maybe kind of something how our first call ran, like we had an introduction call to speak about today, and her first question was to me like, if I work to earn money or if I'm doing this because I love it and it's gives me energy, and I hope everybody who knows me know what would be my reply. So really excited to see her thoughts on new work. For her, was it not enough only to like tell her thoughts about new work? She asked us to send out a survey that we can include your thoughts post-corona I experienced with trend in her talk. And I would say, Nadja, the screen is yours. And please tell my team what kind of slide they show when, but I think on the beginning we will not have any slides and you can tell your thoughts about never waste a crisis. Great to have you here.
Thank you very much, Hannah. I'm really happy to be here. Please give me just a sign if you can. Okay, good. So, and also thank you very much for putting me on your agenda between the topic of cost cutting and efficiency or productivity and the topic of communication, because that's exactly the place I like to be. It feels, please don't get mad at me, it feels like the place between the past and the future, because everything connected to cost cutting, improvements, all this stuff means that we take the things we already have in our work environment and try to make them better, while communication is a wonderful call it tool, call it framework, whatever, where we can get something completely new by listening to each other, by getting in co-creation mode, by connecting. So I like this event, having it international all over the world. All the people, and I get the feeling that a lot of people on this call are younger than me. So impulse would be, please don't mess up your work life. So Hannah, when I met you, the first impression was really you're burning for what you're doing. And I love it. I love people when they really feel it's not a job I'm doing. I'm not doing it for money. I'm not doing it to pay my bills. I'm doing it for higher reasons. So being connected to the why. So never waste a crisis. I love the line and I felt connected to it. And from the psychological point of view, I am a psychologist. This is a wonderful motto in the days and weeks we are now in. So being productive, for example, we are trying to be productive, even we are not working as usual. Being productive doesn't mean to be connected. So I always say people sitting just in front of the computer and using computer as a typing machine doesn't mean that we are working effectively. So what could we do different if we speak about new work, new workplaces, new ways of working? What could it be? And the fun fact I would like to add to this short talk, we are here in a week where on Friday we have the May 1st. And May 1st is an International Workers' Day or International Labor Day. It's also called May Day. And another word which sounds the same, May Day, means crisis. So I think it's a really fun metaphor for meeting this week. And May Day, or crisis, how we officially call the Corona times now, also means that our brain tends to go into this survival mode. And everyone who knows some facts about brain knows survival mode means fight or flight. So we're totally restricted to our reaction to what happens. And to be restricted means that we are not creative, or we are not able to connect properly to others because we're not able to listen. We're not able to share our thoughts probably because we are so in this fight or flight. So we're not resourceful. And by this, we are restricted more from inside than by the crisis itself. And this is one of the impulses I want to send to you. So please take care of yourself. Please take care of your resourcefulness. So feel like you can do everything. There is no restriction to your inner potential. You can use it every day if you're not restrict your brain to think in this reptile brain by fight or flight mode. So please go out of this survival mode and please try to be more than just your reptile brain. So speaking to Hannah, we spoke about that work is not a job. So if we continue, we're in the 21st century. So the industrial era is kind of, more or less done. So we are in a new era. And if we still continue to judge our days by being efficient or productive, and we not look at how fulfilling our days are, then we are not human beings. We are kind of machines, which are just, improving things and try to become better and better in what we already did before. So if you want to do something else, if you want to create something new, so we call it new work, we should step out there. So may I please ask for slide number 1? So I asked some people, so we sent it around a survey for, you can't read much, that's the purpose. So what you should just see from the picture is that between the first and the second question, there is no much difference. The first question was about what I experienced before Corona in terms of new work. There are 8 trends. If you have any additional questions on those 8 trends, don't hesitate to contact me. I love to explain everything about them. So, and there is no much difference in the answers between the first question, so what did I experience before Corona time, and how much I hope Corona will help us to change something in the way we're working. And because in the answers there is no much difference, I assume that some of us are still in this reptile brain. So if we have fears, We have no hope, we have no trust in our abilities, in our resourcefulness. So we don't believe that this time can be something we can use. So that's why, again, never waste a crisis. A crisis is a wonderful time to do things different, or to stop doing things, or to rethink, or to rework, or whatever. So please, slide number 2, where I hope you can see how I used my Corona time to improve my horse drawing skills. So I like to draw my slides by myself. So coming to this, so what? So if we are coming from this industrial era, we want to be different, we want to work different, we want to be resourceful, we want to create new things, we want to create new ways of working, we want to, you know, be something different, we want to be more human, more connected, more together, all of this. So how to get there? And again, we cannot get somewhere in a new area by being more efficient. It's not the way. So we cannot just improve things or be more productive and then hope that things will become different because we're improving the old stuff. So again, don't be mad at me. I'm really a kind of rebel here. So I want you to see all the opportunities, all the things we have, all the possibilities we have. So to somehow free up your mind and to come into this transformation and to see all these opportunities and chances, it needs silence and space. So we need to, you know, stop running in circles, because no one needs a digital hamster wheel, or no one needs a virtual carousel. We are running the same business as before and hope that this will work also after Corona. So if you want to really, really do something new and become someone new, then good things to do so are discontinue, stop, hold on, step out, get out of this hamster wheel or carousel, take a break, appreciate idleness, that's okay. Get lost in thoughts, get lost in emotions. We are human, we are more than a machine. We make mistakes, we feel bad some days, that's fine. That's also what we can use the crisis for, to feel how much we are human. We can enjoy the serendipity that things are happening we didn't plan for. We can play the whole day. I'm sure some of the ideas, pictures today, they were made while playing with things, playing with thoughts, playing with other people, connecting, co-creating, co-designing things. So if you want to go there and read poetry and sing songs and dance and do something different and meet people and listen to them and really don't waste this crisis. And I really, really wish you that you have a wonderful pictures we will enjoy after this talk, and that you will have a great panel and a great, you call it survival kit, but probably it will be more than just this reptile brain survival kit. Probably it will be a basket full of opportunities and ideas. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nadja, for sharing your thoughts about the why, and hope you could get all the audience like some personal and of course like for inspirations for the working life. And yeah, let's have a chat afterwards. Thank you for really jumping in, really spontaneous. We had our first talk, I think, on Wednesday. So really cool to have you here. And I really liked your metaphor from going from the past, from the cost cutting to the future to communication. And for this, I would like to jump over to Theo, who can introduce us to the future, to the next 4 startups. Oh, we need a second more. Overall, it's our first Microsoft Teams event, so I think there are some transfers not working, but here it goes.
Perfect. Thank you, Hannah. Now it's time for our second session of startup pitches that will focus around the future of work. Almost overnight, we have been forced to change the way our teams collaborate, share information.
How I mentioned ago, not always everything works the way, but this is why we're doing innovation and trying out things, and you'll be a part of a huge pilot we're doing here today. So the sounds left us. Maybe good time to check some emails or prepare. No, for dinner it's still too early. But yeah, give us one more minute and we see us in a second again. Okay, I have good news, and I hope not everybody is gone for a second coffee. So sound is working again, and I will ask, again, Theo, would you like to introduce the upcoming stuff?
In our structured. The future of work is happening now, and we need to step up and lead this process. This is why the next 4 startups in this session will present technologies that can help us overcome these challenges. To begin with, I'd like to give the floor to Devon Copley, who's the CEO of iMeev, who built a remote presence platform called AvaTour. The tool allows one to visit the factory floor without traveling, and I'm really curious to find out more about the team that has enabled VR broadcasts of major events such as the Champions League playoffs.
Coronavirus is disrupting business travel to many locations. But what if you could bring a location to you? With AvaTour, you can. This factory owner in Shenzhen uses the AvaTour app to share his surroundings in real-time 360. Joining from California, this product team tours the production line in live virtual reality. Immersed together, the group reviews progress and makes decisions quickly, as they would in person. AvaTour gets the job done without travel. Visit avatour.co to learn more.
Hi, my name is Devon Copley. I'm the CEO of iMeev, and we make AvaTour, the world's first remote presence platform. Video conferencing is pretty good for replacing a conference room meeting, which we're all discovering lately. But those meetings that require physical presence, whether it's a site inspection, site-specific training, or even showroom sales, they have always required travel, until now. The AvaTour remote presence platform makes it possible to visit a place in real time without having to travel there. We use off-the-shelf 360 and virtual reality technology to make it possible to have the context of being in a real place without having to travel there. Now, you're probably familiar with a variety of existing collaboration tools. For example, smart glasses like a Theer or LibreStream. These allow you to visit a real place in real time, but they're not at all immersive. They just show you what the technician is looking at. Similarly, the NVIDIA holodeck or spatial VR collaboration tools allow you to collaborate around a car model, but they don't show you a real place in real time. And spatial capture tools like OpenSpace or HoloBuilder allow you to capture a space, but they don't allow you to visit it in real time. Avatur is quite unique in combining these three capabilities in the same product. The platform is a cloud-based platform. We are a software company. You can think of us like Skype or Zoom. We use off-the-shelf hardware, readily available and inexpensive 360 cameras and VR headsets. A VR headset is not required. You can actually join an Avatur session using a browser on any device, and up to 5 people anywhere in the world can participate in real time in that session. What is the experience like? The experience looks like this for someone in a headset. The headset users see each other as avatars. They see the people in the space in real time, and they're able to talk to them as if they were standing next to them. The platform is good for a wide variety of use cases, although the most common use cases for our customers are around inspections, audits, and potentially client reviews in the manufacturing and supply chain. I think there's a number of use cases in your industry for these. We're working with a variety of firms after launching in September 2019. Pharma films like Thermo Fisher and Asino, and logistics firms like DB Schenker, retail like Gap and Colgate Palmolive, and of course, Velodyne LiDAR, who I believe is a supplier to many of the firms who are here today. Our team are experts in this field. We've been working together for 5 years, and we have a long list of technology firsts in the sector. The company is privately held, and we're headquartered in San Francisco. I look forward to speaking with you today. Thanks.
Thank you, Devin. For those of you in the audience, please don't forget about the Q&A box. You can post any question there and direct them to our startups, and they will make the best of answering them in real time. Coming up next, we have another Munich-based startup, Caesonia. They have built a cross-enterprise and cross-system collaboration platform that enables global teams to work together and share information, even though they do not share the same IT infrastructure. Here with us today, we have Corbinian, the CEO of Caesonia, who is willing to offer us more details about the company.
Hi everyone. With Corona currently reshaping huge parts of our professional, but of course also of our personal lives, I today have the great pleasure to talk to you out of my home office. And first of all, I'd like to introduce you to my first car. It was a Mazda 626 built back in '96. But while back then product development was still kind of relatively easy, especially due to lower technological complexity, nowadays it's heavily affected by ever shorter product life cycles and global multi-tier collaboration networks. And therefore, the exchange of data with partners becomes increasingly important. But there are a lot of challenges, of course, involved in exchanging data with partners, especially in times of a crisis, as we currently have with Corona. In general, it's coming down to 4 things. It's about data silos and system diversity, inefficient processes, as well as intransparent collaboration, and above all, poor data security and poor data sovereignty for everybody involved in the project. But with Corona currently bringing global supply chains to a halt, of course, these challenges just get worse. The badly needed availability of up-to-date and reliable data is just almost impossible, and process quality and process efficiency is highly suffering due to inflexible structures and systems. My name is Corbinian Sontheim. I'm co-founder and CEO of Caesonia, and we are providing an efficient, safe data exchange technology platform for cross-company collaboration activities. As a middleware, we don't store any data ourselves. We are bridging the gap between companies and their individual and various IT systems and data sources to support a seamless flow of information, consistent workflows across all levels of a supply chain, and one single point of truth for everybody involved in the project. And today, I'd like to introduce you and like to show you 2 specific solutions to support a more efficient and safe collaboration with partners. And I'd like to begin with our requirement collaboration solution. As you can see here, The current process of exchanging product specifications with partners is highly manual and therefore has a lot of potential breaking points. Our solution, on the other hand, has a much leaner workflow by connecting companies and their own requirement management systems to support a fast and consistent feedback loop, especially due to an end-to-end change management and real-time collaboration. With our second solution, we're specifically addressing the challenges of supply stabilization in times of Corona. By being able to share, display, and visualize table information out of any Excel file or any other basic and simple database system, we're able to generate reports and share that along the entire supply chain for more transparency and a more consistent database. But we see that just as a beginning. With Sasonia being a technology platform, we're looking to extend into further use cases as well along the entire product development process. We're Sasonia, and we are making safe and efficient cross-company collaboration possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Now it's time to shift our attention to an online meeting tool that was designed for sales teams. Demodesk was founded in Munich in 2017, and they are really eating their own dog food. When they sell Demodesk, they use their own tool. So let's get inside Demodesk with Veronica, the CEO and co-founder.
Demodesk is the first intelligent online meeting tool for customer-facing conversations. We help remote sales and support teams work efficiently where everything has changed overnight. Traditional tools can only record a video of your local desktop screen. We set up a 100% web-based virtual display instead that anyone can access by just clicking a link. Key benefits of our solutions are there are no downloads, control can instantly be shared with anyone, you can preload presentation content and provide real-time conversational guidance for your reps. You can automate scheduling and CRM logging, and we would provide extensive sales analytics. Demodesk is entirely browser-based. There's no software to install, not on the host side and not on the participant side. As the host of the meeting, you would go to demodesk.com and log into your account. From the browser, you could start a meeting, schedule a meeting, and also see an overview of your upcoming meetings. Since we are using a virtual display and not sharing your local desktop screen, we have an amazing feature called playbooks. In a playbook, you can prepare the content that you want to present in your meeting, like slides, websites, and other documents, and can automatically preload that when the meeting starts. So now let's start a meeting. Let's open it and start it. It would again run from your browser. Now we let someone join the meeting. He would just take the meeting link and open that in his browser. He would be automatically redirected to the meeting and would be connected to you without any download. Demodesk runs with any browser and any device. When you're running your meeting, you have all the content that you preloaded using your playbook already prepared on the side. You can jump in between without the customer seeing it. You can instantly share control with your customer by just clicking a button. Now you can browse through the shared website content together with your customer and collaboratively edit it. Demodesk also helps customer-facing teams entirely automate scheduling tasks. We do integrate with Google Calendar and Microsoft Outlook. The customer would open the booking page in his browser and would immediately see an overview of available slots in your calendar and directly book a meeting with you on your calendar. Everything else is automatically being done in the background.
Thank you, Veronica, for the demo. And now, last but not least, it's time to move on to our final startup in this series of pitches. Please welcome Striver, a San Francisco-based startup that has built an immersive learning VR tool which is used to train the workforce remotely. They have been very successful in North America with manufacturers, but funnily enough, they have actually started in sports by training NBA athletes to perform better. Please welcome Langston, who is ready to give us more details about Striver.
Hi, everyone. I'm Langston Johnson from the business development team at Striver, and I recognize that some people might have some background knowledge on virtual reality training, but for the sake of this presentation, I'm going to pretend that everyone is starting from scratch. So one of the classic technologies to upskill a worker, and probably the most cost-effective training technology ever created, is this, the flight simulator. Trainees or seasoned pilots practice flying airplanes, takeoffs, landings, in-flight emergencies without the risk of killing anyone or crashing a multi-million-dollar asset from the safety of a simulator. So with virtual reality headsets, which are like a flight simulator for enter XYZ job, operations, safety, and talent development leaders can improve the performance of their teams by transporting them into the actual situation they'll be working in. At Striver, we call this immersive learning and define it as a groundbreaking training methodology that combines the sense of presence of virtual reality with advanced learning theory, data science, and spatial design. Traditionally, leaders have had to weigh the cost of preparing employees from a monetary, safety, and resources standpoint, and they had to decide if they would go for a more scalable approach or a more effective approach. If they decided on scale, they'd use online videos, or if they wanted to have more interactivity, they teach employees in a classroom. But now, with immersive learning, the trade-off is virtually eliminated because operations leaders get the effectiveness of one-to-one training with the scalability of online learning videos. Now, our USP at Striver is that we touch everything in the VR training ecosystem, the hardware, professional services, and content production, which is all powered by our software. And to implement immersive VR training at an organization, there are 7 steps. The first step is strategy. And being an end-to-end solution platform, we spend a lot of time in the strategy phase finding the right business challenge that can be addressed with virtual reality. And those challenges deal with a variety of situations that are rare, impossible, dangerous, or expensive to train people on. Then step 2, our instructional designers translate your business's knowledge into a VR experience. Next, we produce the content, which is like making a mini movie, and work with your infrastructure to set it up. And then finally, we deploy the training and collect usage data like tracking head movement. So that is Striver. I hope that was helpful, and I'd be glad to have more in-depth conversations now or when you feel the time is right on your end. Continue to stay safe in Deutschland, and danke.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right, so we have reached the end of our startup pitches for this afternoon, and I hope that you have enjoyed listening to our guests and that you are feeling slightly more inspired and optimistic about the changes that can come through once we emerge from this crisis. Hard times breed innovation and ingenuity, so it's time to get to work to make this happen. Thank you all, especially to the startups that were here today, and now I'd like to pass it on to my team to continue with our program.
Okay, thank you to you. And I would say, thanks to the really nice music in between, we are actually perfect on time again, and we can start with our panel at 5:15. So I would say, yeah, we're German, and we got the timing right again. Why we got for this topic, for this panel? So in the news, we read often the joke that COVID-19 actually pushed digital transformation and not the CDOs. And is it really a joke? I will not give you an answer, but I think you can, or you will have one after our panel. And I'm really happy to invite this experts to speak about improvise, adapt, overcome, how to innovate your way out of the crisis and establish the workplace of the future. And for this, Adrian, maybe you can give an introduction who are our experts and what their thoughts are about the future of the workplaces.
Okay, thank you very much, Hannah, for this nice introduction. So hello, everyone. This is Adrian here. I'm super happy to spend this amazing event with you. And also, of course, big applause to our keynote speaker, Nadja, and all of the startups. I already got some great insights for the cost-cutting topics, and as well also for the communication-related topics. But now I have the absolute honor to introduce you to our today's panelists. And I would like to start with Anja Hendel. She's currently Managing Director at Deconium, a consulting firm with a focus in digital transformation. So they could not be a better expert to talk about this transformation of the workplace, because you know that the biggest digital transformation begins also with the employees themselves. She has a lot of experience in technology consulting with a background in computer science, and she worked as the director of the innovation management and digital transformation of the finance department at Porsche, and also was the director of Porsche Digital. And she is convinced that the world will be more digital after Corona. So please give it up to Anja.
Hello.
Hi, Anja. Nice to join us.
Good to be here. Thanks a lot. I have a technical issue, so you will not be able to see me, but I can speak and hear you. So.
All right.
That's
So continuing with the second speaker, who is actually a former colleague of Anja. He worked as a project manager in the field of data analytics and process mining at Porsche AG. And during this time also he developed a team and he saw the need to streamline more efficient processes, especially when it came to communication. That's why he co-founded the app Flip, a messenger-based white label employee app for companies that meets the requirements of GDPR, high security standards, employees council and worker unions, and is kind of taken as the WhatsApp for companies. He will represent the startup side today, so he definitely knows how corporate innovations can enable companies to overcome this crisis. And I'm very happy to introduce to you Benedict Ilk. Hi, Benedict.
Hello. Thank you very much for the introduction.
Great. So continuing with Mark. Mark actually has a medical and a psychology degree in the background, and for the last decade he was responsible in several different positions at Sony, where he held different management roles, and he's currently responsible for the international strategic alliances and partnerships in many different areas, but mostly on the field of Industry 4.0. And he's a very well-known speaker in the field of digital transformation, and we are really happy that he is here today. Welcome, Mark.
Hello.
And of course, he also thinks that whether new work can now prevail depends largely on whether companies have the courage to carry out a digital transformation or whether they fall back into old patterns.
That's a lot. Hello, can you hear me? Can you see me? Unfortunately, you need to see me, I hope. I don't know.
Yes, I can see you.
That's great. Yeah, as you can see on my haircut, yeah, I think haircutters are maybe system relevant for me.
Okay, yeah. That's true, that's true.
I see the Flip guy knows what I'm talking about.
And also we have Sophia joining as well. Is she in the panel right now? Sophia, are you there? Okay. Maybe she will join us in the course of the panel, but I will just give a quick introduction to our overall topic. So you have seen the headline being called "Improvise, Adapt, Overcome." And I didn't choose this headline because I'm such a huge fan of Bear Grylls, but because I think it's a good structure management to structure today's panel. Because in the first part, in the improvisation part, we will talk about the challenges that our corporate partners and companies in general had in the last weeks. In the adapt part, we are talking about current best practices, how we can actually tackle these current circumstances, and also, in the long run, enable corporate innovation so we can overcome this crisis. And in the last part, the actually overcome part, we will talk about the future of the workplace and also, of course, about the time after Corona, what will be there waiting for us. So if you are all ready, I would say we can maybe start with the first question that I would have to Anja. So Anja, as a managing director of Deconium, you not only consult top managers in the digital transformation, but also are continuously responsible for inspiring your employees as well, despite these current circumstances. So my question to you is, did you encounter any unforeseen challenges maybe in the beginning that you may not have had a solution back then, and where you also had to improvise a bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think with the Corona crisis, we do not have only the challenge of working remote, but more than this, we have the challenge of people working in isolation with all the different problems, right? I mean, there are people who have family, and the good news is I know nearly all the kids of my colleagues now, because in the last 6 weeks, one or the other dropped into our video conferences and said hi. So this brings me closer to them, so which is quite nice. But on the other side, you have also people who have no family and work where during the last weeks quite isolated. So this was something I didn't have in mind when we started, right? Our technical environment was working from day one. We started to work quite early, all from remote. This was not a challenge for us, but to having in mind to care about the people, right? And have to have a look how they cope with the situation of being isolated of the virus. So during the first 2 days working from remote, I talked to 2 young colleagues of mine, and they both told to me, Anja, I'm not afraid about the virus, I'm afraid about isolation. So this was the major field where we started to work at. So to work on building up a group feeling, to get close to each other, to establish yoga sessions together, and more knowledge management sessions, more formats of collaborating and getting closer to each other during the first weeks, despite the fact that we are all in far distance. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, especially. I mean, we also had like in the keynote before that this kind of the human component, the isolation, often can be like a sometimes even greater challenge than maybe, for example, the technological challenges. But maybe Mark, did you like experience something similar? Like what kind of formats did you actually implement to also maybe cheer up your employees?
Hi, can you see me? I can't see myself, but I see that the camera is turned on. You see me? Yeah. Okay, that's good. So could you please repeat the last question, because I haven't expected to be this. I'm not multitask able, I think so.
No, also like if you also implemented some new kind of formats, also like maybe isolation activity wise that you have not had before the crisis, to maybe keep the spirit of your employees up as well.
Yeah, so we tried to make from Zoom and Microsoft Teams some kind of an evening drinks and things like this, so that we can spend some time seeing each other. This is a very relevant point what we do. But on the other side, I think we are all facing the same issues with isolation, but unfortunately, these kind of times, venture capital guys need to work more because we have huge portfolios and a lot of companies, and some of them are starting to struggle. So you can't leave them alone. You need to support them somehow in this time. So you need to stimulate and to support and to do. So our days are so long that currently, really much longer than before. So and yeah, some kind of these drinks online helps a lot at the weekend or before the weekend. So this is something what we can do, but it's all right now, to be honest, not more.
All right. So do we have now Sophia in here? I think not yet. So maybe we go to a question to you, Bene. So during your time at Porsche, you were already responsible for implementing new technologies that might improve or even transform your processes and structures within your company. So can you maybe tell us in general how corporate innovation and technologies can help companies to maybe master the challenges that we are currently facing?
It's a good question actually, because I have now the view of like being an employee at Porsche, large company where you had a lot of employees, we had big structures, and now at Flip we have 30 employees, but we see a big difference in how this actually works. But we say like for corporate innovation, we see something that actually happens quite fast because the companies need innovation more than ever. The business models that were relevant before are not working now during the crisis sometimes. And so corporate innovation is more needed than ever in all company sizes, even big or small. So, and I think at that point, technology like Microsoft Teams or like video conferencing, whatever, really helps the companies to work together and bringing the innovation inside the company. Because when you think about before, your day was structured. You could do what you wanted to do before. And now you really have to move your day as an employee. You have to really restructure your boss restructure and everything. And this leaves a lot of potential for the business model itself and for the employees itself to really find a new spot and find a new place and how they want to how they approach the future.
Right. Yes. Absolutely right. So would you say in general, maybe also for you, Benny, what was more challenging? Was it actually more the isolation perspective, like to keep the spirit up of your employees, or was it more the technological challenges that came along with the crisis?
Yeah, since we are a technology startup that actually provides technologies for companies, enable home office and stuff, technology wasn't an issue for us. We struggled with the community perspective, with the isolation of the employees, and so we started. For example, we have now every week on Mondays we have a town hall meeting. We have every day a daily at 8:30 and a night call at 5:30. We have a game session at 2 o'clock, and we have a sports session just before the night call to bond the employees between each other. And so I think we also, by the way, we also do weekly questionnaires how we are capable of doing the remote work and how the transformation from the work we did doing in the office times and now how we transition ourselves. And yeah, we're getting actually quite the moment we get quite good results at the moment. I think the employees are quite happy, and we are already thinking about opening our office at the moment and thinking about how we can do it. But we get a response of employees that some of them want to stay at home and want to stay at home in the future too, because they really enjoy working at home. But they also miss the colleagues for sure. But we try to minimize that for sure.
All right.
When is your team normally distributed? Is it, or are you normally all in one location?
We are normally we really looked after that. We are all in one location. We are in the center of Stuttgart, right to the train station, And now we are totally dislocated, and actually we really improved on our results in the end. When I look at the roadmap on the development scale, we actually achieved more than we did before, actually.
That's great to hear, because I think from my point of view, our team is distributed anyhow, and I think it's now easier because you don't have these little teams in the different locations, right? You're all one big virtual team, so you're getting closer to each other because everybody is away from each other. So no spontaneous coffee meetings, which is a pity. But on the other side, there are not these groups, location groups, which you normally have, which know each other and bond with each other, but more a virtual group, which is, without any borders, I would say.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the difficult times are coming, actually, when some of the employees are in the office and some of them are at home. Like when that is actually going to be, I think, the most challenging time for us. Because then you have those type of employees who actually have coffee breaks, and the other ones who are just remote and don't get the information that is shared in the hallway. So I think the difficult times are ahead for us as a company. But for large companies, I think when you're in a production field or in a retail space, it's getting easier again, because I think it's very difficult to reach at the moment, to reach the frontline workers or employees that are actually on the shop floor, which is very, very difficult at the moment to reach them.
Right.
So yeah,
it's very dependent on the work.
So yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you, Benedict, that it's especially for big and multinational companies, like very hard to keep up the continuous contact that they may have had in the past. For example, Mark, you told us that you fly like back before Corona started. You used to fly quite often all around the globe to, of course, to establish more and more strategic partnerships for your very multinational organization, Sony. So what kind of has changed there? And also maybe how has like the general leadership style of your employees in that sense also changed, like without these, let's say, physical interactions?
Yeah, so basically, my colleagues are all distributed around the world, so I don't see them anyway so many times. So we are used to work remotely, what would totally call today a new work or something like this. So we are working on transit. It means when we are flying around, like to Japan or US, we are working in the plane, in the business lounge, we're working in the hotel, in the lobby, everywhere, because we have no real offices, because we are the most people in my team are located home office. So that means that we are in Japan and Israel and US, so everywhere around other colleagues. So we use these kind of tools. So our biggest asset was always the noise canceling headsets for having your silence and to be able to concentrate to the point and to make everything. But it worked pretty well in the last year. So we have a laptop and everything else. So this worked good. But as you said, we were flying around like hell. And to be honest, I really realized today, maybe the first time in my life, that this makes no sense. I don't miss it. I really don't miss it. And I really, 99% of the flights and travels which I identified before as mandatory and really necessary, they are not. Everything is running still, even if I'm not traveling. So I'm really happy. So I'm spending so much time at home since mid of January now, because in Japan has been hit from Corona a little bit earlier than in Germany. And so we got the task from our headquarters to stay at home, make no travel since mid of January. So I'm at home since then in my home office. But I have a family, I have a wife. She's pregnant and expecting twins, and we have 2 daughters already. So that means I have really built a great relation to my daughters, which I hadn't before. So, and I really wonder if I really want to go back after this crisis to my former life. I'm very convinced that I will not do this. Maybe this is the psychologist in me, but I have such a great relation right now with my daughters that I don't want to lose this again. This is more relevant than everything else in the life. And having 200 trips a year, going where I'm spending so much time in hotels, it doesn't make sense. You're purely alone. One day you will die, and maybe you have seen some countries, but you don't really see them, but you don't have your family close to you. So for me, everything changed. It's a turning point like I've never had before, and I'm really thankful for this experience because I needed this. I'm really some kind of I'm I think like sometimes how stupid I have been before. So that I really thought that I need to make all of these trips and it's mandatory to be there. That we're flying around for maybe 1 day meetings in the US and then flying back the next day. Such silly things. You should not do these crazy things anymore. And I'm so thankful for this experience that all works and without me. The only point what I really miss, and maybe this is again the psychologist speaking out of me, I'm not sure, but when you make, so we are also doing the investment, so the venture capital part is also at my side and my team. If we make the investments in startups, usually I would like to at least see them 1 day, to spend 1 day in the room, to feel them, to smell, to hug them, whatever. You know what I mean? To get a feeling for the situation, for the office, for the team, for the people, for everything. And this is something maybe I'm too old-fashioned, but I really would like to see before I make the investment the team at least 1 time and to spend some time with them. Right. So this is so important for me. I don't know, maybe I'm too old, but this is the last point where I see I need to travel again, but maybe not that much like before, maybe a little bit less. And just for these meetings to spend some time with them in one office. I'm pretty sure that is helpful.
Mark, I totally feel you. I mean, I think this is what is given for sure. I think we will all not go back to business as usual. There will be no business like we knew it from last year, next year. I think that we are at the moment we are in a phase between the times, right? There's a time before Corona. Now we are in the middle of it, and there will be time after. But I'm sure that the time which we have now is different from the time after. But the time after will not be the same like it was before, because there are a lot of people like you out there. I travel also a lot, and I can physically feel it, that I'm not in a plane that much anymore, because I'm not that tired anymore. I really feel that I feel much more healthy and much stronger. I'm the same like you. I traveled and I thought it's important to meet the people, to see them, to have this physical contact. And now I'm so surprised. I just had a 4 hours retro before I went to this panel, totally online. With we used a nice tool and we did the whole retro online. So it was really it was working. Yeah, there's something missing, but not that much to bring me back in the plane every week, multiply again. This will not happen anymore.
Exactly. Maybe I had just only one more sentence. So I spoke with so many in my network, and a lot are feeling like you and me. So that means at the end of this crisis, there's a small possibility that a lot of people from international business, from let's say the huge tech giants, are coming back to Germany or to Europe. So maybe this is good for the economy, because maybe this economy needs these people then, and then they are now able to hire them one day, because before nobody wanted to have them. So, but let's see what happens. I'm really curious about the time after, but I don't want to do this anymore. So, and I'm so happy that I recognized.
And this gives us also a lot of opportunity, right? In things like recruiting and things like this, you do not have to look to people really location-based, but just like get the right people, like you from Sony, as I understood you are doing anyhow. But I think not all companies out there are that open, have been that open so far.
All right. So, Bene, maybe question then to you follow up. So, what impact do you think this crisis have also on your business? Because you are very communication that you are making internal company communication way more efficient, and maybe more and more company will see the need actually to even make their internets or their general communication more efficient. So yeah, what do you think will be the outcome for you the next months?
Well, we see a really good increase in business at the moment. Actually, for everyone, we do employee apps, so you can actually share information with thousands of employees in seconds, and they can do HR processes and whatsoever over the app as well. We feel the impact right now as well, pretty strong. But I think the management is realizing at the moment that they never reached some groups of employees before. Like for example, we talked before about the frontline workers. When you think about the companies realize now that they've never really reached those kind of target groups or employee groups before with their information, and just the blackboard in the factory hall isn't working anymore, and now you have to spread information fast and easy. And I think the demand for those kind of technologies and Flip as well is rising and rising even more. And yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So we have already heard like your like from your technical side, you will definitely see like an increase in technologies which are communication related. But maybe a question to you, Anja, what solutions, like more strategy wise, will be sustainable in the future? Like what can managers do now to prepare their company actually to be better prepared in the future for these kind of circumstances, hoping, of course, that kind of this will not happen ever again in the next, ever.
I mean, as I mentioned before, I mean, one thing is about the minority of people. It's not a small part, but it's only 40% who are able to work from home, like we do, for example. So I think it's around 40% of at least of the German population could work from home. This is the figure which is out there. But I think what we really see is that everything will become more and more digital, right? If I have a look to my parents, my stepfather is older than 80, so he's 82, and they are not leaving their house, and they will not leave it for months now, because if he will get the virus, it will risk his life. So they started now with all this shopping activity. So they do all the home delivery now. My mother takes her reha sessions for her shoulder via Skype, and they get more and more digital, right? And I think this is the big opportunity. All these little shops which we have there are now thinking of how to get visible, because what the crisis showed us is, if you are not digital, you are not there anymore, if people are not able to leave the houses. And I think when we talk about it, Mark and myself at least do not want to travel that much anymore. I'm quite sure that my mother will never go to a supermarket and buy bottles of water or something, because the carrying is anyhow very heavy for her. So I think this will change a lot in our society, and the longer the crisis will last, the more sustainability will be in these new models, because what Mark said, he will not go back anymore. And the more weeks we work like this, and we change our behaviors in all areas of our life, in our business, we will not go back, because we are humans, right? After 21 days of doing something regularly, we are back on our new path and in our new routines, and do not want to change them anymore. This is how we are.
Even when when you found out the solutions you're using are easier than before, and when it's less effort for you, then I think then going back is very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I completely agree with you, Anja, that definitely that the future will be more digitalized. And also I think maybe these measurements or this time show us now like what exact measurements we kind of have to take, and not see digitalization and innovation more as a buzzword. And also regards of this, regarding specific tech interests or tech areas that will become more prominent in the next years, maybe also because of the crisis. So Mark, your expertise is here very relevant. So what kind of tech interests do you think will emerge out of this? Like which ones will be very relevant in the next months and years?
Yeah, okay. I think there's a very good way to have a helicopter view on this. You need to see like across, and then you can see that all the different areas like health tech, like gaming, everything, this could be structural relevant or cyclical relevant. It means structural means this is an area which is growing anyway, like health tech, like gaming, like all of these tools, like food tech and so on. This is growing anyway, but due to Corona, maybe this has an influence cyclical for a short period of time. And there's also the downside. That means there's a lot of companies or areas which are structure relevant, but due to Corona, they're slowed down. I make an example, like health tech, esports, gaming, education tech. This is structural. Same also like cyclical, very positive and very relevant. But all of these areas will remain after coronavirus, will speed up due to coronavirus. And so this is maybe a relevant field to look in. But at the same time, the valuations are also increasing. So you need to look also on the left side. Structural, means structural positive, things which will evolve, factory automation, enterprise software, and so on. But due to coronavirus, slow down a little bit, because you can't do the proof of concept right now, you can't implement, there is not so much meetings, but then afterwards, after the corona crisis, this will come up stronger. So for me, that means currently I'm really looking very deep into health tech, into gaming, into education tech. I'm looking into collaborative software like Flip. So we should have a call next week. Yeah, we need to learn each other better. So we should speak with each other. I think what you do is relevant. But what I expect, what is coming to be the most important thing, is the complete automation of a factory. So what is too obvious right now in the world is that the entire value chain is broken. So much things are produced in China and in Asia. And the reason for this is because all the loans are cheaper. So the headcount is cheaper. So if you fully automate in a factory, you can move the factory close to the headquarters. You can even move it to Munich, because when it's fully automated, you don't need to pay the headcount anyway. So I expect after this crisis and during the crisis that these kind of software, these kind of factory automation and completely automation of an industry will become absolutely more relevant. The same like telemedicine and gaming platforms. But what we can see right now is maybe a revolution. You see the concerts from Sony music artists like Justin Timberlake and all of them. They are not able to make a concert out in a hall because it's prohibited. So they go to Twitch and they make the concert in Twitch. They're not going for the broadcasters. They not go for ZDF or for RTL or for ProSieben. They really go to Twitch. So that means we are merging entertainment, we are merging music currently with video gaming. The same platforms are displaying. And on these platforms, you see audience interaction. In Twitch, everybody can talk with everybody. And maybe this will have also an influence like we would like to have broadcasting in the future. So maybe we don't look anymore like, or we don't watch anymore like RTL like we've done before, because we want to interact. But at the end, to make it very short, health tech, gaming, food tech, also education tech, maybe the full automation of some kind of this industry, paired with, I think maybe it's a big hour of the psychologist afterwards, also mental health platforms, things like this to make remote the psychoanalyst working. These kind of things we should look deeper into. I think this is structural as well as cyclical positive. And I think there's also some kind of areas where we will see a lot of bankruptcies, like mobility, like shared mobility examples. Who wants to share a car? So, and I'm not sure how many of these companies have the cash reserves to survive for 18 months. I'm not sure. So maybe this is the century of biotech also. So maybe these are the areas where we should look into. But at all, we have no crystal ball. But I'm focusing currently in my research on these kind of areas. Oh, this was too long now. Sorry.
No, good. Like very, very insightful. Do maybe other panelists have to add something to that? Otherwise, because also we are very good in time, and we could also start our final question round, and maybe also we can also talk more about the tech interest in our Q&A session right after. But as a final question to all of you, I know you already talked about some learnings that you have, but just to sum up 3 of them, it would be great in 30 seconds to state 3 key learnings from the last 2 months that can help companies innovate themselves out of the crisis. Maybe Anja, do you want to begin?
I'm sorry, I was just in the Q&A seeing if there are open questions which we can answer. So can you please repeat it again? I'm sorry.
Sure, no problem. To sum it up, in 30 seconds, to state your personal 3 key learnings from the last 2 months that can help companies innovate themselves out of the crisis.
Okay, 3 key learnings. One is always think about the humans, right? I mean, it's all about communication and connection. The second is whenever there's the opportunity, go online with your business. even now, I mean, it's a big thing which you need to be, otherwise you are not there. And the third one is see what comes up with the crisis, right? I love formats like this one. I join much more of these sessions now, even as a participant, because I think there's so much out there which I can now see from my sofa at home, and not have to wait for flying to somewhere to have interesting discussions or pitches. So that's the third one. All the learning and the connection can also come to your living room.
Okay, thank you very much. So maybe next one, Bene, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, sure. I think the most important thing, like Anja said, is communications. It's communicate fast and a lot to your employees is very important. So, because then you are transparent, you can show what's going on, and you can build up trust. And I think that's the second point. It's a very good chance actually to build up trust at the moment, because it's much to build up trust in good times. It's much harder than in bad times actually. So communicate as much as possible and as fast as possible, and also try not to forget employees on the way. Large companies sometimes tend to forget some work groups like frontline workers and stuff, and try to include everyone for your company. And I think you will come out with a positive way. And for us, for example, as a small startup with just 30 employees, it's a very good chance to hire the best people on the market when the large companies are not hiring at the moment. We ourselves see a very big chance in this as well.
Oh, great. So everyone sent the applications a flip. So yeah.
We're doubling our team this year. Please apply.
So then last but not least, Mark.
Yeah.
What are your key learnings?
So my key learnings from the last months is it has basically not so much to do with business, to be honest. The first thing is that I think we forgot all how to value the freedom degrees we have, so that we can go wherever we want, to do whatever we want. This is not anything. When it's taken away from you, it hurts. And to value this sustainable after this crisis, I think is a very big part. The second one is that I realized that what I do is not so important. So it's more important what the people are doing in supermarkets and driving a lorry. So all the people I was complaining about before, to be honest, I always, when I've been on the highway, I was really complaining about all the lorries in front of me and like how they drive. I will not do this anymore. I also will send a smile to every person in the supermarket, because what these guys are doing is awesome and not what I do. So to realize that what I do, I thought it is really a huge thing. Basically, it's not. So I think basically it's, yeah, not that important. And the third one is that family first should not be a buzzword. So I learned so much about me. So I don't want to compare myself today with the Mark from December, but to be honest, I'm more happy today than in December. So I realized all of this, even if I realized that I've been stupid before. So maybe also this is a key learning, and this helps me a lot in the future. So, to be honest, I learned so much, and I'm really thankful for this. I was a little bit afraid before this starts, because people are handling this crisis, which you don't believe that they are able to do. But it seems like that we have some kind of strategic plan. I have no clue, but the best thing, what will remain afterwards to the business, will be that all the bad business models in Germany, and these are a lot, they will anyway die. They would have died in 10 years anyway, but they will die much faster now. All what is hardware-based business model, just selling from A to B with a margin Y, this will have to suffer. This will really get a difficult time. And software as a service and other things, what we never invented too much in Germany. We are still this hardware industry country like Japan. We need to transform ourselves, and I'm pretty positive. I met so many startups in Germany, and there are so great. So I'm so helpful. And I really hope that's the last thing what I want to say is that the government is supporting more the startups, because they're our future. Then they support the old bad business models of the old established companies. But it seems a little bit that our preference right now from the politics is to support again the old bad business models and to really make it not so easy for the startups to get money. And this is something I don't like, but I would hope that this will change. But these formats are great to share and to speak with other people. So I'm looking forward to the discussion with Flip next week. Send me an email.
I will.
Okay. So yeah, a big thank you from my side, and of course also from our team for this amazing panel. I personally actually got a lot out of it, and I'm very sure that the participants of the webinar of our meetup as well. So thank you very much, so much to all of you. If you have a bit of more time, we would like to jump also into a quick Q&A session, if that's okay for you.
Yeah, it's okay.
So maybe the first question going to Bene. Here it says, you said you plan to open a new office. Did you already consider looking for a smaller office or no office at all and spend the money saved for team bonding activities?
It's a very good question, actually. I have to say I'm not sure yet. We were thinking about opening up an office in Munich to be closer to our clients in the Munich area, but I'm not really sure about it if it's a really good investment. When just think about also the future of sales will change, since when it's normal to have meetings like this, you don't have to have sales meetings and anything with your customers right away. So when it's normal for them, you can do decentralized. And yeah, I'm really doubting the plans we have at the moment, if we really need to open up the office, or if we can do something else with the money. Yeah.
Right. So I just received a message that we may have to cut it a bit short, but again, like a big thank you to all of you. To this amazing panel. We will definitely keep in touch. Like also the attendees can also write us if they still have open questions to our panelists. We definitely will forward them to them. And yes, that was it from my side. Thank you very much, Anja. Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you, Bene. And yeah, I would love to do it again sometime. Maybe in a physical environment, but I would also love to do it again like this. Thank you very much. And I will give it up to Hannah again.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Adrian, Mark, Anja, Bene, and sorry that Sophia couldn't join us. So very much thank you from my side as well for this amazing discussion. You can see there were so many questions popping up. So we will actually collect everything, send it to you, and it would be amazing if you can take the time, answer it, and then we will share it back to the community. I think it would be really value. And then hopefully to see you soon again, or yeah, let's have a call and see what we can do next time together. To all the others on the screen, on the other side of the screen, thank you as well for joining us today at our first virtual public meetup. I think we learned a lot on the technical part, but on the content part, of course, as well. And I hope you could take a lot of thoughts out of it. So overall, we had around 200 guests today, 64 meetings in the morning, 8 forward-thinking founders, and 5 amazing speakers, and of course my lovely plug-and-play team. And I would like to spend more often afternoons like this, because I think it was, like for me, it was really value. But overall, it's possible to do it again. So our next event, and I think you can see the slide, will happen on May 14. So there we will talk about the future of production and supply chain, and hopefully to see you here again. It will be a little bit shorter than today. So we will have not a keynote and a panel, will be one of both. But again, amazing startups presenting their solutions, and of course, our plug-and-play team. And if you are interested in any of the startups, to get in touch, to learn more about the partners of our platform, to learn more about the platform, or only to say hi, you can get in touch with me, or if you're in touch with other colleagues of me, feel free to do this, and then we will connect you to the right person to do the follow-up talks. Again, my name is Hannah. It was amazing hosting you today here in actually my room, but some of you I already could see. And with this, I would say have a nice Feierabend, have a nice evening or day wherever you are. And to all our partners champion, we shared a calendar invite yesterday to meet for some virtual drinks and a get together and to have a chat. How's everybody doing? For May, we will see if we can open up to the whole community. This will be a test today, and I wish you a wonderful day, and it was great having you with us. Please take care.
Huh?